welcome back to another Inside Edition of Voice of Victory Land podcast with Kip Thompson. I hope everyone's had a great week and looking forward to another weekend of racing somewhere. They've got the Ward of Outlaws Nationals at the dirt track at Charlotte this weekend. Know a lot of people in our area are headed to that. But whatever you do, get out and support a racetrack somehow, somewhere. As always, before we begin every one of our shows, we'd like to thank our show sponsor, Raging Rooster Catering out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Tony and Bobby Jackson do a phenomenal job with their catering business. They'll come to your event with a group of 30 or more. They have a wide menu, all kinds of options. Look them up on Facebook, Raging Rooster Catering. You'll find their email address and you'll find their phone number. Give those guys a call today. They are proud sponsors of the Voice of Victory Lane podcast. Tonight is a very special show for me. This is a show that I've been waiting to do for some time. Been wanting to try to get hold of this driver who's not only a competitor and a race car driver at a track that I hang out at quite a bit. He's a really good friend of mine and just a phenomenal guy and does so much for the sport. Great family, great kids, great wife. And I'm just super excited to just go ahead and jump right onto the show and introduce tonight's special guest. Out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, driver the number 24, 602 late model. It is AJ, a.k.a. Hollywood Belanger. AJ, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing, man, great. Just super excited to have you on the show tonight. Kind of feels like the roles are reversed. I've been on your show before, and now you're going to be on our show, so it's actually pretty cool. So tell everybody, man, what's going on with the team and everything. You guys are coming off of a great weekend at Charlotte, and you've had a really, really good year, very, very competitive season for 2022.
Yeah, man, we've had a really tough year. I feel like we probably could have been had a lot more wins or a win, period. But we've built on successes all throughout the year. Every time we've raced in, a race that had 30 or more cars or something, we've been top three. And then coming off of last weekend, we're building our momentum right here at the end of the year, which is good. And hopefully we can carry it into next year. So I'm really excited about how we've run this year so far.
Well, when you look at what you guys do individually, but also take into consideration that you guys with Ed Belanger Motorsports have become a team this year, implementing Donovan Action Jackson into the mix. But set aside from the team, but you as an individual, you're doing, in my mind and in my eyes, what you really want to do and need to do, because at the beginning of the year, when you're here at the end, you want to be here. And that's exactly what you've done. And hopefully, like you say, that it builds momentum. You want to be firing on all eight, be peaking at the end of the season, and also give you something with some good vibes about rolling into 2023.
Yeah, so we got that late model from Corky and Dustin the end of last year. We ran it one time and had a good run with it at the end of the year. I think it was the Food Coma comeback. So at the beginning of the year, speed weeks, we were fast all week, man. They had that thing on a rail. But then we kind of got throughout the year towards the middle, kind of started slumping. But then, like you said, we brought in Donovan. We've had, precision suspension. Sammy Speaks has been with us the entire year. He's actually, helped us a lot. And also Dustin too, and Corky have really helped us because they know that car. We got that car from them. And then, like I said, we went into a little slump, but we found our problem, got it fixed, and now we're making strides again. And I'm really proud of Donovan, man. To come into the class that he has with the car, that's why we named that car Chicken Salad. When Dad first asked me, who he should put in the car, I said I'd put Donovan Jackson in there. I've seen that boy do more with less than anybody.
Well, AJ, Donovan Jackson is a fierce competitor. He can drive anything. He can drive the modified. He can drive the crate late model. He can drive a mod light. I couldn't think of anybody any better than what you guys were trying to do there. I don't think you had a better choice than what you guys made with Donovan Jackson.
Yeah, like I said, that he's a good kid. I told Dad, I said, you're not going to have to worry about him tearing up your stuff. He's going to drive with respect. There's not going to be a lot of drama. He's not going to bring drama to the racetrack. And he's gonna find out how to do more with that car, than anybody else. I've watched that kid grow up racing, and he's a wheelman. It just like last year at County Line, the race for the kids. I mean, he's down there with a 602 late model. I mean, he was scorching their tails, dude. And then, unfortunately, flat tire with like 2 laps to go. But that's a clamp car. That was an older car that he had then. So I'm really proud of Donovan. I'm probably more proud of Donovan and what we've accomplished with that old car. We tried to sell that car. Nobody wanted to buy it. We had it for a deal. And so Dad said, well, hell with it. We'll race it. And we got Donovan in there. We started working on it, tinkering on it. And now that thing, I mean, he's out qualifying me. He was in front of me at the last race at Fayetteville there for a minute. I had to get back by him. I didn't want to lose my ride.
I hear that. Well, like I said, congratulations on that come together, that team that has been made there. That's two great drivers in my book in that class, along with yourself and Donovan Jackson. So before we go real deep into the show tonight, let's let the fans know. Of course, everybody remembers you probably as of late, driving in the modified class. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about, for AJ Belanger, where racing started, how you got into it, and how long you've been doing this.
Oh man. So I was born and there was racing going on. Dad was racing go-karts when I was born. He ended up getting in racing pure stocks. They had I think back then it was called a junior late model. And so him and R.L. Johnson had a car or two cars that ran out there. Curtis actually drove for him. So I grew up, racing my little cars on the concrete out at Fayetteville from the time I was very, very little, and always wanted to get into it. I looked up. I kept begging Dad, begging. Finally, he bought me a go-kart when I was like 8 years old, and went out and started racing at East Mountain Speedway, and just kind of progressively moved up. And then actually the first race car I drove was for Brian Fulcher back in the old green machine. And then Dad, I guess, decided, all right, maybe he can do this. And so we got a Super Street and started racing that. And then it's just been moving on and moving up ever since. So I've been doing this since 8 years old. So I don't want to tell my age, but I've been racing pretty long time.
So at least
32 years.
You're not going to tell your age, so I won't round it up. You've been doing it at least 10 years then.
Oh, yeah, at least 10. At least
10. Okay, well, I was thinking about things today, knowing that you were going to be on the show tonight. And our relationship kind of started going to racetracks together and stuff when you really got into the 602 Sport Modified. And I just want to tell you, I don't know what the deal is, but I'm going to let you explain it to the fans and the viewers. Obviously, an open wheel modified and a late model are two totally different race cars. Mm-hmm. You've got a modified car that's got the little narrow, skinny tires up on the front, and then you go to the late model car where you got the 4 wide tires all the way around. And I'll tell you, AJ, in front of all the fans, all the people who are watching tonight, you seem like a totally different driver in the late model as opposed to the modified. Not saying at all that you can drive a modified. You did, and you did well. But you seem to have, when I watch you on the racetrack, and maybe it's just the difference in the 4 wide tires, it's just like you have so much more confidence when you're in the late model and you drive it. You drive that thing, man. You drive that piece down into the corner, man, and you don't give nobody an inch, and you don't race anybody dirty. Now, I'm not saying that at all, but it's just the competitiveness in your driving and your style is so much different, but for the good. I mean, I'm just like, every time I see you out there, I'm excited that tonight might be a night that we'll get a hand and throw a bag out.
Hey, by God, I know I owe you one of those for the year is out. Whatever I got to do, I need to make it happen. But yeah, I don't know. I would probably say that the reason, Dad always said, good equipment will make you look like an all-star. And, for a long time, we never really had the best equipment. We didn't spend tons of money on it or anything like that. But I feel like once we got that car from Corky and Dustin, we knew it was a winning car. And then on top of that, you throw that car that's already winning races and you throw Sammy Speaks and precision suspension on top of it. And, Sammy and Corky even talked, kind of came together to help me get a base set up on that thing. And they're the ones that are making me look good. I don't know if it's maybe knowing that car had so many wins, like the confidence. I was like, I know the car. It's not the car. I've just got to do my part. And like you said, I try not. I definitely don't want to race anybody dirty, but I've had tons of people telling me I need to be a lot more aggressive than what I am. I for so long we raced where Dad was like, "Don't tear the car up, because if you do, you probably can't race next week." So I wasn't shooting the gap or sending it like I probably should have. So.
Yeah, well, I don't know that I've ever, and I've seen you make many laps around Lakeview Motor Speedway, Fayetteville Motor Speedway, County Line, different places, wherever you've been. I don't know that I've ever seen you drive anybody dirty. Now, somebody may disagree with me, but I've never seen that. But no, I don't know that, that it's not as aggressive, or you're not being, over the edge aggressive trying to take somebody. My thing is, I can just tell in this particular car. My point, what I'm trying to make is, in this car, you look like a totally different driver. Like the confidence levels there, driving it, and just man, I'm just gonna tell you, I just congratulate you on the transformation of going from an open wheel auto into what you've done in that 602 late model. Man, you're doing a really good job, and I'm sure sooner than later the 24 is going to park it up there racing for Heroes Victory Lane. We're going to have our time, brother. I promise you.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate everything you said, man. It is, and like I said, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that make me look good. It's easy when I get out there to drive the car and for it to make me look fast. Dad, Coy, Jared, Bell Jr., Chad, all those guys that helped me. And then can't forget, my Panda, who puts up with me going over there working on that car. That all of that together is really what it kind of takes the pressure off me, because and my boys, they're probably my worst critics. Blaze is definitely. He loves some Daniel Parker now. I mean, if I can get ahead of Daniel Parker, then I'm doing good, because he made sure to let me know how much faster Daniel is.
Well, both of you guys did a fun job at Charlotte this past weekend. And when you start talking about Blaze and Axel, when you talking about, hey, when you were a kid, your dad was racing, and how many times you've run little dirt cars all over the concrete and dirt at racetracks. I know two more that kind of got that honest. At every racetrack you'll see those boys with their headsets on, their cars. Those are great kids you got there too, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And then pretty soon, little Avon, my little baby, he'll be coming to the racetrack too. It keeps Panda and my mom and Tina and all the rest of Linda. My boys keep them busy for sure.
Oh, no doubt about it. Well, before we go to a break, just give me a real quick overview, kind of how it all works and how you manage this thing. Number one, God bless Panda. Panda have a crown in heaven whenever she goes upstairs. But to manage a race car, to work a full-time job, have a wife that has a full-time job, and three little special little boys, man, that mean the world to you. Every single time, you get in the race car, I've seen the fist bumps with the two older boys, Blaze and Axel, and we got one more coming. Gonna be he'll be up there slapping Daddy a high five. And now don't wait till he gets to walking and running now before you visit me in Victory Lane now. But what my question is how do you guys kind of manage all that?
Man, it's tough. I can tell you, we just got finished with football and soccer, and I tell you what, that was tough. And I'm lucky enough that when I do go to work on the race car, I take Blaze and Axel with me. Avon stays here with Panda, and then once we go over to Dad's, Dad or Tina, we usually watch the kids while we're working on the race car. But Blaze is actually getting to the point now where he's wanting to help and stuff. So his new little job is, it's so tight getting the car into the trailer. He's actually now he hops in. He knows how to crank it up, get it going, and steer it and everything. He can't reach the pedals, which that's why we're letting him pull it in the trailer. But we winch it in and let him steer it and crank it up and everything. So, but it was tough, man, because we had football and soccer like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then games on Saturdays at two different fields, and it was tough, man. It takes a village for sure.
Oh, no doubt about it. Well, listen, race fans, we've got AJ Belanger on the show tonight. He's the driver of the number 24 at Belanger Motorsports out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, 602 late model, races around Fayetteville Motor Speedway, Lakeview, and all across North Carolina. Had a great weekend this past weekend at Charlotte. We're going to talk to AJ Belanger about the Charlotte experience and what's left on the 2022 schedule for him right after we hear from our sponsor, Raging Rooster Catering, right here on the Voice of Victory Lane podcast. Tonight's show is being sponsored by Raging Rooster Catering out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. We cater any event, big or small, weddings, holiday events, and festivals. Call us today, 910-237-4565. Follow us on Facebook at Raging Rooster Catering. We invite you to come get you some. Okay, race fans, welcome back to the second part of another inside edition of the Voice of Victory Lane podcast with Kip Thompson. Tonight, our special guest, driver the number 24, 602 late model out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, AJ, a.k.a. Hollywood Belanger. AJ, thanks again, man, for being on the show. So let's talk about it. Let's jump in. And I'm going to let you do it because you were there, you were on the ground, you knew what happened. Phenomenal weekend for you at the dirt track at Charlotte. Congratulations, man. I know that we did a show here on our podcast, and we kind of just spread it all the love around for everybody that races in our local area. The best of luck. And lo and behold, I watch it and see everything, and here I've got two guys, same class, that run on a regular basis at Fayetteville. Daniel Parker second and AJ Belanger third, man. Congratulations. Let's hear all about it.
Yeah. And congrats to Daniel. I really think Daniel probably, he could have got that guy if we'd have been able to finish out green. And maybe I think I could have been up there too, but definitely a good showing for the Fayetteville drivers. It kind of just goes to show the kind of competition that we have down here, at the bull ring at Fayetteville. To put two cars in the top three or on the podium at Charlotte at World Short Track Finals is pretty awesome. But yeah, so we've kept it simple all year. We've stayed with our base setup and stuff. And when we got down there, we knew what we were going to do. We were gonna stick to what we knew. The biggest thing that helped us was I've been banned from drawing peels. The team does not let me draw peels for starting positions anymore. So Coy, my big guy, he drew me a 14. So that put us starting outside row in the third heat or outside pole. And that made it. I mean, there's so many guys, like good cars, man. Dalton Jacobs and stuff, they got mired in the back of the pack that had to try to fight and scrap and claw to get into the race. And with that draw stuff, it kind of puts you in a bad spot if you don't get a good one. But we were able to hang on to second place in our heat race, started seventh in the main and just kind of try to not, out change the setup to where we were getting too far away from what we knew. And it worked out, we picked off some spots and we're able to bring it home third.
Well, congratulations to you and your whole entire team on behalf of all of us here at the Voice of Victory Lane podcast. We were super excited, not only to hear that we had two local drivers just make the show, but not only did you guys make the show, man, you guys were running up front. And for the Fayetteville Motor Speedway and surrounding areas, guys at Lakeview and all these other racetracks that know you guys and pull for you guys, we were super excited. I mean, just ecstatic. And we just want to just congratulate you guys on an awesome, awesome weekend. So now as we continue to go into the remaining part of 2022, what do you guys have left? I know you're probably planning on being back at the Food Coma Comeback 3 at Fayetteville Motor Speedway the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be there for that one. I was texting with the guys earlier today. I know that there's a race down at Screven, I think on the 18th and 19th. I think 2,000 on Friday night, 3,000 on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, there'll be the Blue Gray 100 at Cherokee for 1,500 to win in the 602. So, I don't know. That'd be a pretty good little sweep right there to hit a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday show and maybe be able to bring home all those wins. Now
at Cherokee, is that, I know that's a 2-day show because the Carolina Clash Super Late models are there. It's like a $10,000 and a $7,500 win. Are they running you guys on Saturday or Sunday?
I thought I saw where it was on the 20th. I could be mistaken. I kind of just shot it to the guys and said, "What do y'all think? You know, yes or no?" Um, so I definitely, you know, it'd kind of be hard to get to Screven on Friday night with us working, especially when we're just taking days off, you know, to go to Charlotte and stuff. But I would definitely like to try to race those. I can't guarantee that we will be there. But Dad's kind of loosened the reins and kind of letting us go and race, you know, without being under his watchful eye, I guess you could say. And he's kind of got some confidence in us that where we go, we can go and run good.
Well, regardless where you go, what tracks, hey man, we wish you the best. Love calling you my friend. I love watching you at the racetrack. Look forward to the park that piece up on the concrete pad so we can spend some time together, because I know we got some things we want to say and we're gonna have a good time. Now, one question that I'm going to ask you, and I just, you know, every driver's got their thing that maybe kind of brings in good luck. I just, from the time you got in the truck on the way to dirt track at Charlotte, was the magic key of finishing up front. There had to have been some Ronnie Millsap played on the way to Charlotte.
Yeah, there was definitely some Ronnie Millsap. I like to throw in some, you know, some stroker A's when I'm going. You know, I try to get myself in the mood. I'm playing all the racing songs, and then I get stuck on my 80s country and everything. So it doesn't sound as good now that I'm drinking the near beers a lot, but it's still my favorite, and I still end up drinking more of the near beers than I plan on it.
Well, I tell you, there's nothing like having daydreams about night things in the middle of the afternoon.
That's exactly right.
Well, as we go forward, looking into the 2023 season, you know, I'm so excited about the 602 late model class because let's just talk about the talent locally. Right, you got Daniel Parker, Timmy Mills, Chase Blackwell. Chase Blackwell's a wheelman, brother.
Yes, he
is a wheelman. You've got him. You've got Daniel Adam. You know, and I'm sure I'm leaving somebody. You know, Morgan Johnson. If she ever gets that thing figured out like she did a Mod Light, y'all all better look out. And you know, that class, Daniel and I were talking about it on the show the other night. You know, Dave Mitchell did a phenomenal job in advocate for this class last year at Fayetteville, and it was a little slow to get off the ground. But man, look at the last 2 or 3 times you guys have been at Fayetteville. The weekend we had a clash, I think I had like 32, 33 cars. Then they had like 26 or 27. And this is just so exciting to see this class grow like that. 2023 for the class you guys are running in is for sure going to be full of excitement.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the crate things. I know we've all had this discussion before, but I think the crate stuff is the best thing to happen to racing in a long time. I know there's still some people out there that don't like it, but you know, you either jump on board or you get left behind. And I watched the show the other night with Daniel on there, and he's right, man. You know, matter of fact, I had a buddy of mine he's interested in getting a 602 late model going. He said, "Well, what about a motor?" And I said, "Man, call Rouse." And you know, he called Rouse, and you can get a motor with everything, your pulleys for 10 grand or less, you know, and you can run that thing as long as you keep the oil change, spark plugs, your springs up, you know, changed out every few races. You can run that thing for a long time. And you know, the tires, I've actually this year, I think I've run 3 or 4 races on a set of tires. And I know people thought I was crazy, and maybe that's why all of a sudden I seem so fast when I finally bolt some fresh ones on, but it's so affordable to run this class and to be able to run a late model or a modified. You can put it in a pure stock or street stock, whatever they're calling them. You can basically take one engine and you can kind of keep that through street stock, modified, late model, 3 classes at Fayetteville. And I think that's the way to go. You know, I think crate racing is great and I love it. And I think it's just continue to get better, and there's going to be bigger purses and more money. You know, I think it's great.
Well, not only before the 602 late model deal was implemented at Fayetteville, look at the 602 sport mods for the last 2 years, how many cars they've had. And I remember saying people were doubtful about the 602 late model deal. Would it make it in this area? And I said, if you'll give it enough time, if it ever catches fire, just like the 602 sport mods did, you'll see this thing blow up. And I think that's what you're seeing with today's economy. You know, Not saying that anything's cheap, but it's more likely to be affordable crate racing than it is anything else. And even Daniel said it, and you just hit it again a while ago, that even, I mean, to drive a 602 crate is cheaper to run that than it is to run a UMP modified. And Daniel and you guys ran those things for a long time. So you're seeing, the cost between the two.
Yeah, and guys will tell you, oh, you can run you can run a UMP or whatever for the same amount. Man, that you could do it for the same amount, but you're not going to be competitive. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. But I mean, I think Dave has got a really good thing going with the classes that he has. I mean, you look at the legend cars, he's having to have 2 features there, so I think him saying that he was going to do, the kind of like 4 to 5 classes that are just staples every week. I think that's the way to go. I mean, you got the legends, he's trying to get the street stocks. We need a few more of those, but the UMP modifieds and the 602 late models, and then throw in your limited races or whatnot every now and then. I think he's got it going on, man. I think he needs to stick with it.
Well, it is a great class, and one thing I'll tell you, and I know that you will echo with me on this, is Fayetteville Motor Speedway is our home racetrack for both. I've been super guilty for over many, many years to go to other racetracks, and like I told Daniel the other night on the show, I love every racetrack, man, because it's dirt. And guess what? They're racing. I don't care what the place is like. I'm there. I'm having a good time. I love it. But how guilty I am of what I take for granted when it comes to what we're provided and what we have at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. Great facility, great track crew to work and prep the track. Wayne Gray and those guys have figured something out. They have figured something out at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. And, man, I am proud to say Fayetteville Motor Speedway is my home racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Wayne, they have. And that's the thing. This whole year, they even last year and stuff too, that, they're constantly trying to learn at what makes it better. What can we do? And, there's 2 lanes. You can run 2 wide there. I mean, I'm probably one that doesn't try it as often as I could or should, but I didn't even realize it until after I passed Donovan the other night at Fayetteville. I was like, holy shit, and once I moved up, that's where, I got a lot more speed. So I like that they're constantly learning, and the upgrades to the facility, man. I mean, Dave is always trying to make it better, and that's all you can ask for. Yeah, I know that, that someone's always going to find something to bitch about, but he is every year he's tried to do better and better, and that's all you can ask for.
Well, a lot of people kind of on it a little bit, when Dave and Shay first took things over. Oh, he's making too many changes too quick. Shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that. Well, you know what? Look at him now. Because what right now is when the Clash was here at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway for the Big C Memorial, one of the greatest races I have ever seen in Fayetteville Motor Speedway history. Okay, you've got a lot of guys still today, right now, talking about some of the best dirt that they've ever run on. The track was in phenomenal shape. Well, then you fast forward. Let's go to the Steel Block Bandits. 100-lap race, brother. 100-lap race, and with 80 laps in the book, you've still got people racing 2 and 3 wide from the first slot all the way back to mid-pack 16th, 17th, 18th place. Hey, and I don't know of one car that had a right rear that went out that night. Now, I know Michael Batten got into a situation where left rear got cut down and wheel messed up. But, I mean, it's a racy racetrack. And, again, I think the guys have got it figured out.
Yeah, and that they really do. I mean, that 100-lap race was great because you kind of had some that were coming and going. You had Dalton that led for a while, and then, Christian Thomas got up there. I mean, but then Tyler Bear comes up and he just – comes through the pack. It was great, man. I mean, it was racy the whole time. And Dave said when Dave first took the track over and he was shortening it, I was there through it all with Dave, talking to him and everything. And he said, I want guys to be hitting lap traffic quick. And I think that's really made great racing. Now, I've been on the bad end of that deal too. I've gotten involved in some wrecks because of lap cars, but I think it definitely adds more excitement because now you're not only racing the guy for position here, but you got to figure out, all right, who's going to get through this traffic better. It's a whole new dynamic, you know, and I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a lot better now being short than it was when it was long and drawn out. Not that I didn't enjoy it being really fast, long straightaways, but that's all it was. It was fast straightaways. You kind of had to slow down a lot more getting into the corners. Whereas now I feel like I'm hardly ever out of the gas.
Well, that racetrack, I'm glad you mentioned that. When you mentioned lap traffic, you know, and it's not just the late models, whether it be the crate late models, the limiteds, or the supers. You'll find this to be true in the 602 modifieds as well. And if you had a full, let's say 18 or 20 street stocks, or look at the legends. Look at the legends. I mean, you got 24 and 24. We had 48 total last week, so you got 2 features of 48. If you go at Fayetteville Motor Speedway, the thing is so daggone fast. The track is so good, it's so fast that if you go 8, 9, 10 green laps from a start in 8 or 9 laps of a 20, 25 lap feature, you're already in lap traffic, like you said.
Yeah, and I love it. I think it's great because, you know, there might be a night where my car is just, you know, when you go out there, if you've got a winning car, a second place car, a third place car, whatever. But, you know, if we catch lap traffic and I catch them just right, you know, who knows? I might be able to take a 4th place car and sneak back. And that's why I kind of wish we had some green flag laps at Charlotte, man. I felt like my car, the longer it ran, the better it was getting. Not to say that I would have won it, but I definitely felt like we'd have caught back up to them and been able to give them a run for their money.
Well, congratulations again on a phenomenal 2022 season as we've seen you grow where you started, and you go into a team building deal with Donovan Jackson. Wish you guys with that group right there, the combination, the 2 drivers in Belanger Motorsports, wish you guys all the best of luck at that. Also, congratulations, man, on a great win or a finish again at the dirt track at Charlotte, and we wish you the best of luck for the remaining part of 2022, and cannot wait to see what 2023 holds for you guys.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be on, man. I mean, I feel like coming off of that run at Charlotte and the runs we've had this year, you know, my confidence is a lot higher now, and I'm ready to I'm ready to kick ass and take names, man. I'm telling you, I'm going for it now. So, but
all we got to do is sometime between the final race at Thanksgiving, the Food Coma Comeback 3, and from there to January, we just got to pick out what color shoes you're going to wear.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. You know, I've already started looking for next year's shoes. So,
well, give me at least 2 or 3 options by text and let me sign off. We're on the same page most of the time, so
right.
You got the KDO double G deal, so you're good to go.
That's right, man. Hey, I appreciate you having me on the show, man. I want to take real quick. I just want to thank my sponsors, man. You know, Bell Groves Enterprise, you know, my cousin Bill helps me out a lot. Chad, you know, obviously we park right there. I couldn't do it without family. Driftwood Land Maintenance, my other cousin, Jared Belanger. Also Coy, the big guy, you know, Cindy starter and alternator. He's there all the time, man. I mean, like last night, I told him, I said, man, I'll tell you what, I know you're here for me whenever because you show up on wash day. So I would like to thank him. Also, Rainer Bryan Construction, always without fail, are there with me. Sammy Speaks, Precision Suspension, and also Dad for just giving me the opportunity, and obviously Panda for allowing me to do this.
Well, we already gave Panda the big shout out. There's a crown in heaven for her.
Yeah.
Got 4 boys. She's got 3 little ones and a big one in you. And
yeah.
Support. You know, I love the pictures that I see at the racetrack, at the dirt track at Charlotte. You know, and I'm not going to speak out of place. I'm just going to tell it like it is. Panda loves racing because she loves you, and she knows that you love racing. And listen, I think it's just a super cool deal to see all of these husbands and wives that, hey, you know, the wife is just as much a teammate as the driver is in the marriage. You know what I'm saying? And it's real cool. I don't know that I've been to a racetrack. Very few times have I been to a racetrack. You raced it. I didn't see the one and only Panda there supporting her man.
That's right. Yeah, she is. Even though she might not always love to be there, she loves me, so that's why she is there.
And that's all that matters. And your dad too, man. Big Ed, just super cool guy, just down to earth, super cool, laid back. Can get heated if he needs to, but it's got to be a special deal to kind of wrap that whole family thing like they're around your finger there, man. You and your dad doing something together that started years ago. You're incorporating your children into it. You're getting one of the kids involved and helping get stuff in and out of trailer. You got your wife there. I know your mom comes to the racetrack times, hadn't seen her in a while, but for me, I don't get up in that outside pit area where you guys are because I'm tied down in Racing for Heroes Victory Lane. But it's got to be special, man. The whole family there with you week in and week out.
Oh yeah, man. And I can't, next year we're working on getting old Kid Hollywood into a junior sprint. So he's already told me, he said, Daddy, I got to find me some sponsors. I said, you daggone right, son, because I got 3 boys I'm gonna have to support in racing. So you're gonna have to find you some sponsors.
Well, House doesn't have to look out for the cookout.
That's it.
All right, AJ Belanger, man, thank you so much for taking time to be on the show tonight. For AJ Belanger, I'm Kip Thompson, the voice of Victory Lane Podcast. We'd like to thank our show sponsor, Raging Rooster Catering out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, Tony and Bobby Jackson. They will come to your place. They will show up. They will show out. 30 people or more. Be sure to find them on Facebook, Raging Rooster Catering. You'll find their email address and their telephone number. Call them today. Hey, look, holiday season's coming up. People are looking for a good caterer. Give this guy a call. I promise. Tell him that the voice of Victory Lane sent you to it. Hey, go to our YouTube page, like, share, and subscribe. Go to our Facebook page, like and share this post. Everybody, we're excited to have AJ Belanger, aka Hollywood, on the show tonight. We will see you guys again real soon, right back here with another great show starting off sometime early next week. Everybody have a great weekend. Go to a racetrack, support a local racetrack. We do not need racetracks shutting down. So get out, get off your butt, go to a racetrack. Take somebody who's never been there before. I can promise you they'll want to go with you again. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Have a great night. We'll see you guys soon.